What's up, guys? Welcome to the Steve Bizzogany Show. Today, we are going to be talking about how your client gifts suck and how to make them better. So this episode, I want to start off by saying that it was inspired by John Ruhlin's book, Giftology. And I think his book is outstanding, and I think everybody should every real estate agent should read that book because it really dives into the professionalism and the mastery of actually gift giving. And I think it was awesome. And I'll tell a story about him later. But basically what realtors do most of the time is they're going to buy a gifts and it's going to be customized with their stuff on it. It's going to have their contact information. It's going to have their name, contact information, phone number, office name, whatever, office cell phone number, all their information and all that stuff all over the gift. It'll be knives. It'll be keychains. It'll be bottle openers, cutting boards, custom wine bottle labels, things like that. All ridiculous, in my opinion, and I'm going to get to why. So why that's annoying is because, first of all, when I go to a convention or an event of some kind and somebody's giving out promo materials, and usually they're pretty cheap. They're not like quality things. And they just clutter up my house, and it's annoying. And I just take them and I just want to throw them away, and I never even see them again. It's just a really crappy way to promote and give gift giving, or to give a gift to someone. Wow, that was hard. Let me tell you a story about how John Ruhlin's book of Giftology does this differently, and this is based on a personal experience. So, like, when I first started, I learned about this book, and I had at the time not a lot of clients, but enough where it was out of my budget. Let's put it that way. So I didn't know. Like, now John Ruhlin does, his clientele are obviously larger companies than what I was at the time, which is, a realtor with a couple of clients. And I said, like, how much, so I called his company up and said, how much is it for you guys to do like the professional gift giving for my clients for me? It was like a dumb astronomical number. And I was like, definitely not for me at the time. So I'm like, okay, all right, never mind then. So I, hung up politely with the salesperson, and she was like, okay, no problem, Steve. Yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks for calling anyway. So a couple days go by, and I get this package in the mail. And it is a set of Cutco scissors, like the nice kind. And it's got my last name, Bizzogany, engraved into the side of the scissors. And I'm like, and it says like from John Ruhlin and the Ruhlin Group, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, these are really freaking nice. Like, holy crap. Now listen to me talk about his company right now. I'm talking about his company and how awesome they are. And I didn't even buy anything. In fact, I got a pair of really nice Cutco scissors with a lifetime warranty because of what he did. Now, the concept that he explains in the book is called radical generosity. Now, that is radical generosity at its finest. And here I am talking on this podcast about how awesome his company is, he and his company are, and the concept of radical generosity and why you should all read this book. But so let me get into it and how it applies to real estate here and how it's changed the way I live my life and how I work my business. Like I said, most realtors do the knives, the keychains, the cutting boards, the custom wine bottle labels, and all that other weird stuff. So one of the things you don't want to do, as far as gift giving goes, is you don't want to buy perishables or consumables because, first of all, the stereotypical realtor is going to show up to settlement with a bottle of champagne and maybe a balloon or something like that. Like, what is this, a 6-year-old buying a house? No. Like, what's with the balloon? And a bottle of champagne? Like, okay, you probably went and bought a $7 bottle of trash from the bottom shelf at the liquor store. Wow, put a lot of thought into that. You're probably the person that gives gift cards to everybody at Christmas time. Sorry, I'm just getting a little fired up at that. But I think that's ridiculous to give a gift. So it's just it doesn't set you apart at all. It doesn't make you memorable because even if they do drink that $7 bottle of trash that you bought, it's going to go away. They're not going to remember that. And if they give, or they might give it away and be like, oh, my realtor gave me this because it doesn't leave a good memory. So there is a time and a place for when you can buy consumables. Like, for an example, in my career, I one time I had sold a house, an $800,000 shell in Philadelphia. The house was a total crapshoot. We had met with the owner who was selling the shell and the buyer who was purchasing the shell, and he was a developer. And the two of them, when we were meeting and organizing the deal, they were talking about how much they love Macallan 18. And I'm not a whiskey guy, so I don't know what this stuff is. And I'm like, all right, cool. And it kept coming up every time we met at the property to do inspection or to do some kind of, what do you call those things? some kind of builder meeting or some kind of measurement meeting or some kind of zoning meeting or some kind of qualification of some kind, because he was a developer. He needed to know all this stuff. So I'm like, McAllen 18 just kept coming up. I'm like, okay, clearly the gift for this guy is McAllen 18. Like, he clearly loves this stuff. So, obviously it's not a $7 bottle of trash. And I didn't know the cost of this stuff when I went to go get it. So we're going to settlement. On my way to settlement, I stopped by at the liquor store and I'm looking on the shelves and I can't find them. I'm like, wow, where's this stuff? I go to the liquor store countertop. I'm like, excuse me, can you, do you guys have a McAllen 18? I don't see it over here on the shelf. Oh, he goes, oh, 18. He's like, McAllen 18. Oh, that's in our glass case. I'm like, oh boy, this price tag is gonna. I said, I don't want to know what this price tag's gonna be. And he comes up to me. He's like, all right, cool. You're getting the good stuff, right? I said, yeah, I guess so. So he opens up the glass case and he hands it to me. He's like, all right, man, here it is. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, now I'm holding this bottle like, holy crap, like, what, treating it like a child because I don't want to drop this thing. I still don't even know what the price is. And I get up to the front countertop and he goes, $289. I was like, for what? For this? Now, not being a liquor or a wine guy or a whiskey guy, I'm like, oh, okay. Just remember the rule. 5% of all of my commission checks go back to my client. I quickly did the math on my calculator. Okay, it's under budget. It's fine. It's in the budget. It's good. We're good. So I buy this crazy expensive bottle of whiskey, bring it to settlement, and both the buyer goes absolutely freaking nuts. He's like, oh, this is so cool. Let's crack it open right now. Let's have a shot together. I'm like, oh, great, awesome. Now, and then he held on to that bottle for, I think I had visited him like, I think 2 or 3 months later, he still had the bottle 3/4 full. So, I mean, it stayed and it lingered a while. And, obviously I've gone back and kept in touch with him in other ways and given him other gifts. But that's one instance where maybe a perishable might be okay. That's fine. But like I was just saying, the gifting budget, whenever I do buy gifts for clients, it's, whatever your net commission is, like whatever Keller Williams is going to give me, not, after my split, all that stuff, whatever that number is that I'm taking home, pre-tax, by the way, that gets reinvested into clients, 5%. So that's the rule. I did mention that in the last podcast too. So 5% goes back into your clients, and that's John Ruhlin's rule from his book as well. You'll see that. Now that doesn't mean you have to spend that full 5%. That does, I hardly ever. I don't think I've ever gone and spent the full 5%. Most of the time I spend less than $20. And I get, I did a, what do you call those things? There's an app called Waterlog, and it's the word water. Sorry. Philadelphia person here talking. It's water. Sorry. WATERLOGUE, Waterlog with like a UE on the end. And this app is really cool because it turns regular pictures into like watercolor paintings. And you can get these watercolor paintings for like, you take a picture of the house, many times the listings, you can go online and you have the professional picture. You take the professional picture on your phone and then you put it into the Waterlog app, and then it changes into a watercolor painting. And then you take that painting to CVS or whatever, and you blow the painting up to an 8x10. And then you buy on, that costs about $7. And then you go over to Amazon and order like a $10, $11 frame with the matted frame. And then you put the 8x10 into the frame, and it's a very, very personal picture of a water painting of that person's house that they just purchased. That is a really good gift. That's personal. And every client that I've given that to, whenever I go back to visit them at their house, it's always hung up on the wall. And of course, people are going to see it on the wall. They're going to ask, oh my God, where'd you get this painting? And it's not really a painting, but where'd you get this picture? And they tell them, oh, my realtor gave it to me. And then you start talking about you, and you're forever in the house. So, and that's I think it's an $18 gift in total. So it's within everybody's budget for sure, especially if you just earned a 4-figure number from the sale of a home. I think you can manage $18. Another cool thing. So like for me, another thing that I did a little bit more personal. I think this was like a birthday or something like that. A client of mine, his birthday was coming up, and I called his wife up and I said, what does Avian really like? And she's like, he likes the grill. He really likes the grill. I said, okay, cool. So I go to this website called personalizationmall.com. Now, just keep in mind, I don't advertise on this podcast, so I'm not getting endorsed or anything like that, but I'm just trying to provide you some value here. So anyway, I went to personalizationmall.com, or you can just go to like pmall.com. I think that works too. But and you can pick from various different items, and you pick all these different things. And I picked out a custom spatula, and I basically put Avian's weapon of mass destruction on the handle of this spatula. And then when his birthday came around, I stopped by his house and said, hey, Avian, just stopping in. I'm in the neighborhood. I know you're going to be home. Got the special gift for you for your birthday. And he's like, oh, man, you didn't have to do that. That's super nice. I said, here, yeah, open it. Yeah, he opened it up. He was like, dude, this is the coolest thing ever. I love this. And I'm like, well, I was like, yeah, man, keep it. Now, that doesn't have my contact information on it anywhere. So some people are like, well, how are they going to call you? I'm like, he knows who I am. He knows I'm a real estate agent. I don't have to sit there and ask. Now, I'm a big proponent of asking for referrals, but in this case, I don't need to ask for referrals. I don't have to ask. Like, the meaning is there. Whenever he goes to grill in his backyard and he sees this spatula that says Avian's weapon of mass destruction, he's going to be like, oh, dude, Steve's so cool. He's such a badass. I can't believe he gave me this. And everybody who sees it, he's going to have friends over who are, they're going to be like, tailgating for an Eagles game, and they're going to be like, oh, dude, this spatula is awesome. Who put this? Where did you get this? And they're going to be like, oh, dude, my realtor made it for me for my birthday. And they'll be like, dude, I want that real estate agent. I want a freaking custom-made spatula or whatever it is. And obviously it's catered to everybody's needs. And this is where you listen on the second and third level here. Because listening on the second and third level, this is where you tell where people's interests are. You can, you learn a lot about who they are as people, because they're not just clients. They're not just walking commission checks. You want to make sure that you get in there and you find out who they are. What do they like? And I'll tell you another example, another story. Aaron and Amy were a couple that I was working with, and super nice couple. And I noticed that she loved to run. And I've always noticed she had some kind of fitness gear on. I actually saw her around town running all the time whenever I was in Queen Village. And it was also a common joke that Amy used to make fun of Aaron because of the amount of shoes that he had. She said, yeah, he's got so many freaking shoes that are all over the house. He's just a freaking shoe fanatic. I said, okay, clearly this is a shoe family. Like, she's a runner. He loves shoes. Clearly there's something related here. Like, this is where you need to look higher level stuff here. And then you'll have, eventually, as I'm touching base after the sale, they're home. And eventually they come to one of my client parties and they tell me that they're pregnant. I'm like, oh, well, fantastic. When's the due date? First question is, oh, great. That's amazing. How awesome is that? Do you know if it's a boy or girl yet? No, not yet. When's the due date? And then whatever they tell you, do not forget that date. So they tell me it's like, it's obviously 9 months out or whenever, or if it's not 9 months, it's like 6 or 7 months out. And so I write down into my CRM and I put a reminder that says, make sure you get a gift for Aaron and Amy that is shoe related for them. And I put that reminder to be about 60 days prior to the due date of the baby. And my reminder goes off and I get this reminder. It says shoe gift for Adam and Amy, or Aaron and Amy. And I'm like, so I go onto Etsy and I order a baby sized, what do you call this? Knitted Nike shoe. So like I literally have a knitted Nike shoe that is the size of a baby's foot. So I had this thing, and this thing took like a freaking month to get to me. So this person just hand knit these shoes with the Nike logo on the side, and she sent them to me. And then I'm like, hey guys, just want to let you know I got you this custom gift. I know you guys are having a baby soon. Here's this. Here you go. What do you think of these? And they opened up the present. They're like, oh my god, these are amazing. Blah blah blah. Again, another situation. I love to ask for referrals, but in this case, you don't have to. Like use your emotional intelligence here. I don't have to ask for referrals. That gift is going to leave a lasting impression. They're going to give it to their kid. If they have another kid, they're going to put those shoes on that kid too. And if they don't have another kid, they're probably going to give it away to somebody else, some other kid, one of their friends' kids who's having a baby. But that's going to leave a lasting impression because these couples, she's a runner and he loves shoes. I mean, what cooler than a knitted pair of Nikes for your baby? So of course they loved it. So these are just examples where you got to do second and third level listening so that you can do second and third level gift giving. No $7 bottles of trash from the liquor store. We're not. Set it a goal for yourself never to buy another bottle of champagne for a client at the settlement table. We are not doing that. We are not doing that in this on this podcast. So you know what we should do? I should probably get like $7 bottle of trash T-shirts or something like that made. We'll get there someday. But all right, so that's enough for today. That's enough on my rant on how client gifts suck. But anyway, I do encourage you guys to get the book. Giftology by John Ruhlin is a great book. And then outside of that, I'll see you guys on the next episode.